What's up guys, Coach Matt Springer. I'm still at the same barbell as the previous video on hip snatching and hang snatching. And I just wanted to cover something that relates more to the CCP coaches out there. And one of the tools that I use with helping my athletes and lifters recognize good positions in the snatch is I'll have them do a 1RM hang snatch, and then I'll compare the video to their 1RM snatch from the floor. And unanimously, what I find in fitness athletes who have a very strong anterior chain, very strong quads, is they're extremely upright in the hang snatch, and from the floor they get far bent out of position. And seeing these two differences in position help align what they should be aiming for off the floor. If that doesn't make sense right now, just watch and you'll see an example clearly right here. So commonly, imagine this was a 1RM attempt, hang snatch. I'll see people get approximately this position in their angles, where their shoulder blade is directly stacked over the barbell. Their torso is quite upright at about a 45-degree angle. Hips are down. And unanimously, people can pull a very heavy, and oftentimes in fitness, more weight from the hang than they can from the floor. Why? Because they've optimized their position with their torso angle and where they're putting load at in their quads. And like I said, I look at that video and I show them and compare their lift from the floor. This is commonly what I'll see out of fitness athletes who again have the very strong quadriceps versus posterior. Is they set up from the floor and immediately hips shoot off, and this is the comparison position to the hang, where the shoulder is now far over the barbell, their knees are locked, their torso's bent over, and now they have to hinge backwards to correct the lift. So one more time, watch the subtleties of my torso, watch the subtleties of my shoulder. You'll see this out of the hang, very upright. Lets the quads do the work. You'll see this off the floor all the time on heavy weights. Quadriceps act first, posterior can't keep up. And so with those two positions, I always freeze frame it. I freeze frame at the kneecap. Where do you look like in the hang? What do you look like off the floor? And then I try to connect the athlete that you have to look like the hang coming off the floor. So in other words, you can't get bent over. You've got to be more upright off the floor. So the correct position for that athlete is having them focus on maybe the bars further from their shin, their hips get lower and they squat off the floor, and now they're in that same posture as their strong hang finish. You can practice lift-offs versus this nasty position that people get pulled out in front of. But once you know the hang is your strong position, that's what you work off of, and that's what you act as your center, and that's what the athlete can recognize they have to pull into off the floor. Hope that makes sense. Coaches, look at your athletes' hang variations, look at where they're at off the floor, see if there's a discrepancy, and if there is a discrepancy, that's where you can help create alignment with lift-off repetitions to help tweak where the athlete pulls off the floor and where they want to get to at kneecap level.